Boys and girls, welcome back to Art with Ms. LaGrange. If you remember, we were taking a look at Chihuly's art, and Chihuly's art is made out of glass. Instead of using glass for our art projects, we used clay. Now our clay has turned into something called ceramic art. And the reason that has happened is because I coach your clay since the last time that we had art together. It's called firing the clay or cooking the clay. And I use this piece of equipment called a kiln. It's a big oven for clay. So if we look inside the kiln, there's Mrs. Shea's class of all of their projects, and now they're white and hard. That's called ceramic art. And so I have taken your ceramic art pieces and I carefully hot glue gunned your feet onto each of your bowls. But before we get into doing that, we're needing to carefully cut our placemat out. If you haven't yet painted, you should finish painting. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I put a hole punch in, 3 fingers apart from the last one. If you remember, we're folding that yarn in half and taking the folded side or the looped side and putting that from behind through the hole, and then taking our 2 extra strings or pieces of yarn and putting that through that hole and gently pulling so we don't tear that piece of paper. And if you haven't yet finished painting, make sure that you're changing colors every time you bump into a red line or whatever color you used to outline your 5 lines on your design. So you can see our clay project is going to sit on top of that placemat. So I'm going to set that aside because I don't need that at this point. I want us to look really closely at our ceramic art now. I've glued the feet on for you. I can see that my name is on the back of it yet. I'm going to be working on the back first, and all of you should do that as well. To start with the back, we're going to choose one color for the whole back of our project. So I've decided on violet. So to use our pieces, because the ceramic clay is very absorbent, it's almost like a sponge. And we're needing to add water each time we use our paint. So I'm going to double dip. I'm dipping into water, then I'm dipping in paint. Water and then paint. Water and then paint. A few times I might forget that as I go, but I'm going to need to make sure that I remember, because if we don't add water to it, it'll have a hard time soaking into the ceramic. So I'm going to, on my own, finish painting that violet on the whole back of my bowl. But I'm not going to take the time to do that. I'm not going to have you wait for me to do that. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to start making my plans for adding color to the other side. So I rinse my brush out. I'm squeezing it 3 times to make sure it's dry. I'm now getting my next color. I'm going to use this beautiful brown. But I have to figure out where my 5 lines are. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those lines are important because that's going to be the places that we change colors. So I'm painting brown in this corner space. I'm dipping into water first, just like I did on the back side. Dip, paint, dip, paint, dip, paint. And I'm going to fill this one area in with brown. I'm moving it up closer so you can see. You can see the line that I've drawn with our maple stick. Remember when we sketched those 5 lines into our clay? Those are our dividing lines. So I'm going to finish doing that with the brown. Then I will clean my brush, squeezing 3 times, and I'll choose a new color for another part of my bowl. Boys and girls, have fun painting. We'll see you next week.